It's World Series time. I'm so gosh darn excited. But things are all packed up. My car engine's ignited. No degenerates around. Professionals abound. It's a true competition. I don't want to mess around. Everyone knows that this time is special. No one can tell you why. But every bar can get shit face and piss himself. Flex in the crowd. He got kicked out for racing hell. Russ Hamilton in 14 his band fell. World Series time. Man, I can't wait to go. Sensational teams are always ready. Courageous men wearing wigs in the ladies' game. 100 quarter kill is allowed to play. World Series time. Man, I can't wait to go. Man, I can't wait to go. Such a blast. The days go by so fast. Well, there goes Tatty Tats. Everybody's neck goes spastic. What's up, Poker Cat? You look fanny-pack-tastic. The Amazon's so lively. I'm looking out for Ivy. He staked me in the main. I'll sell some pieces. Someone buy me. Everyone knows that this time is special. No one can tell you why. Let's get polluted inside super satellites. Sell some jars in the hole by the bathroom lights. Kessler's vouchers say what's he can eat tonight. World Series time. Man, I can't wait to go. It's over on ESPN. Company's got chickens for the seniors events. Let's get 106 of the World Series time. Man, I can't wait to go. Man, I can't wait. Good morning. How are you doing, Sherry? Are you there? You have to hit the mute button to come on.
Hello. I was just trying to text you back. So it's kind of funny. You, right as I started texting, you called me out. I was like, dang it.
Dang it.
Dang it.
And yes, you can
Okay.
contribute to the list, of course.
Okay. Perfect.
And
Thank
maybe
you.
we'll start collaborating on that beforehand. I
I
threw
like
that
it.
out there. I think it's good so people can, kind of formulate their thoughts and what they want to talk about and
Yeah,
come up
like
here
get your list of dispensaries ready, people.
list of dispensaries. I'm gonna send a drug test out there for you, Sherry.
Look, I just came back from the doctor's office. The last thing I'm on is drugs. Trust me. They've been poking and prodding, and
Oh
I
no,
don't stand a chance. Believe me.
that does not sound fun. All right, so let's get to the bracelet events for today. Day 3 of the $1,500 monster stack is at 10 a.m. And then also at 10 a.m. is day 2 of the $800 no limit 8-handed event. Great event there. Huge turnout for that. And then the 10 a.m. Is also the start of the $3,000 no limit hold'em event. That'll be a good field there.
And that's a freeze out.
Yeah, and like I was saying yesterday, I don't know, but it seems like when you get over that 2,500 and above price point, you start to get a much harder field. So that'll be stacked today for sure. 1 o'clock is the 1,500 Big O day 3, and then also the 50K Poker Players Championship day 2. And day 1 of the $1,500 mixed Omaha high-low event starts at 2 p.m. So that's what we got going on for the bracelet events today.
Lots of good stuff.
Yeah, let's jump right into the yesterday. What happened there, Sherry? Do you have
Sure,
that?
I do. Event number 39 was the $1,500 monster stack, no limit. Total of 3,945 entries. Wait, is that right?
Yeah, I think that gets wonky there
Yeah,
because
I'm just going to go with how many were left yesterday. How about that?
yeah,
389 went into yesterday with a top, pardon me, with a top prize of $1,162,681 at the top. And we have David Vidrol of Austria in first place as far as chip stacks are concerned, and he has 4.3 million in chips. Ahmed Karim of South Africa has 3.8 million. Is it Ryan
Yeah,
Boub?
Rain.
Yeah, of France has 3.8 million, about 70,000 less in chips than our second place chip stack. So, it's close. And they've got lots of poker with 389 left in that tournament. There's lots of poker to be had today.
Yeah, and over 8,000 started that
Thank
event.
you.
So
Thank you. I knew that
yeah,
that was a daily total and not the total. So thank you. Um, and going on to, did you have anything else to say about that one?
yeah. Just well, how did I end up on this one? Yeah, David, the chip leader, David Ridral with about 600,000 in career earnings. Um, so this is definitely a chance to up that quite a bit.
And definitely hunting that bracelet, right?
I want to talk about too the payouts for that event. 1.1 million for first. Final table is 113,000. And then how many you said are left? 300 or so.
389.
So let's just say top 100 is 9,000. So obviously a lot of money up top for that tournament. But
Right. Thank D Negs for that one.
but but yeah, we all know these guys don't care about the mill up top. It's about the bracelet, right?
Yeah, right. Whatever you say, Brian. Moving on to event number 40.
Wait. Can I just say one
Yeah,
more thing? So your heads up in this $1,500 buy-in, 718,000 for first, but 1.1 million for set for. I'm
for
sorry,
second.
718,000 for second, 1.1 million for first. That's like a really cruel heads up match for somebody that,
I'm
that
just going to tell
that's a
you, Brian,
$1,500
as
buy-in person.
disappointing as it would be to come into second place and being so close to a bracelet, I'm not going to be mad about that 700,000 purse. I'm just not. I'm going right
Yeah,
over
yeah.
shopping. So I'm not going to be mad. I may be disappointed, but I'm not going to be mad at that dollar amount. Moving on to event 40, the 250,000 super high roller no limit. Um, we went into yesterday with 37 remaining. Is that right? Why do I feel like these
Uh,
numbers are off that I'm looking at?
Seems like it. Let me
I
pull it
think
up
it
really
was
quick
less
here
than
for
that.
you.
And I'm
One
sorry,
sec.
but my I don't,
There,
how many's left
there
in?
were nine. Yeah, there were only. Yeah, they were down to the final table.
Okay,
That's right.
9.
So there were
I
nine
knew that number
players.
was wrong. Okay, so
Yeah.
of course, it was quite an exciting table and lots of drama, of which we'll get into once we get through all of this, all of this housekeeping stuff. But of course, Chris Brewer came out the champion after a heads up battle with Arthur Martin Roja of Russia. Chris taking home 5.2 million. Arthur uh, taking home 3.2 million. And your boy Chance Korth, um, who I might add had a great punchline for the evening, but we'll also get into that later. He went home a winner at fifth place and
Such.
1.2 million. David Peters, seventh place with 712,000 in winning. So definitely a tough
Yeah,
table
and
of 9. And
Chance,
go ahead.
Chance is such a like just a like a class act. I don't
Love
know
him.
if you haven't been around him at all. Like he's just a solid guy. And then the other thing too, nice to see Chris Brewer. Like remember Chris
Yep.
Brewer took that brutal beat
Yep.
against Doug Polk in the heads up
Yep.
to get. I think that was in the semifinal.
Yep.
Um,
It
and
was.
and now he finally he gets it done here and wins the bracelet. I think he'll trade this bracelet with $5 million for it. instead of that semifinal win. So
I
everything
know
comes
that's right. And
back
I
around.
couldn't help but notice that chances in fifth wasn't one of your other unlucky charms in fifth, but am I just imagining that?
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
whatever.
Let's move on from that there, Sherry.
Event number 41, poke, poke, poke. Uh, event number 41 was
Yeah,
the
speaking of Doug Polk.
yeah, $1,500 Big O, which I did not realize this was an inaugural event, the first time ever at the World Series of Poker. I was kind of surprised by that tidbit when I read it this morning, but they had 400, I'm sorry, they had 18 remaining going into today, right?
Yeah, this is one of those that probably Alan Kessler has always been like, run a Big O, you'll have millions of plays.
Well, 14, they had 1,458. That's nothing to deny, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Um, and that was the inaugural event. So there's $315,203 at the top. And right now in chips, at the top of the heap of chips is Gary Gwynn with 4.5 million, with Victor Remden with 3.4 million, Scott Abrams with 3.2 million. And so, again, 18 left, and there's still some poker left for those folks to be playing.
and Johnny Chan's still in there in 12th with 1.36 million. So
I read a stat about him today. Like, it's been, I forget how many years. Somebody posted it. Like, they posted how many years it had been since his last um, bracelet win. I wish I could remember it, but I was surprised at the number. I'll try to look it up as we go on. Event number 42 is the 800 eight-handed no limit deep stack. Um, had 3,778 entries. Remaining were 238. And the
and
top prize, I'm sorry.
it looks like there's going to be some people waiting at the cage.
Yeah, for a long time.
No,
There's
no,
339.
our chip leader.
Yeah, $339,033 at the top with the gold bracelet, and Chino Ream um, is at the top of the heap of chips with 2.4 million. And here's a name I'm really excited to see, and it's the first time we've seen it on a list this summer, is Pat
Hey,
Lyons.
yeah, he's so
I'm a big fan of his. I wish him well. He's at 2.3 million. Paul Grand has 2,055,000. Here's another did not report. Whoever's sitting in fourth place for chip stacks did not report, and they have 1.8 million. So who do you think it is? Helmuth, Negranu? Who do you think it is? Phil
uh,
Ivey?
hopefully not Lex Valhouse if you're me.
It's so funny. Do you have any other comments about that tournament?
Yeah, 237 looks like 238 remaining in that event. So
Right,
that'll be
right.
getting whittled down today quite a bit. Eight-handed event, definitely the cream will rise to the top here. Corey
Right.
Aldermere 12th in chips, and a lot of different people throughout the field,
I'm
and
kind of mad
just a
I
good
missed
event.
that one. I would have liked to have played that one, I think.
I mean, a deep stack short-handed, shortish handed, I guess
Right.
you'd say, handed event has to favor people that have more skill for sure.
Yeah, I would have liked
But
to have played that one. All right, event number 43, the 50K Poker Players Championship had 73 entries. There are 54 remaining. And our pal, Josh Aria, is in first place with 1,088,000 in chips. In
wow.
second place is Phil Ivey with 944,500 in chips. And, even when you go down and look at like number 9, David Williams, he has 585,000. So, from ninth place to first place is one double up, right? And so, of course, they have lots of poker to play. Do you have any comments?
Where's Jungle Man at?
He's not on. I don't have the list long enough to
Let's
know
see.
where he's at.
We got a
Jeremy Usmus is in 6th place. Matthew Ashton's in 10th place. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I
So
don't know.
if you guys get a chance, go look at this list of players that's left in this. I think it's required to have a bracelet to enter the event. It seems like everybody has bracelets. So
Well, I think you have to have a bracelet probably with a select few that don't, just so that you can afford to be in that 50K.
yeah, exactly.
um,
Crazy.
Looking at the Player of the Year points, there was some movement. If you remember, Ian, um, Matt Taskus was in first place. He still is. Sean Deebs is in second. Chad Eversledge has moved down to 5th place. Chris Brewer has moved into 3rd place. And Michael Rodriguez, pardon me, has moved up to 4th place. Then it's Chad, Michael Monsick, and then Jans Aarons, and I think S. Williams for that pronunciation. Jans Aarons is in 7th place. Your pal Chance Corneth is in 8th. Josh Aria is in 9th. John Monet is in 10th. So there's your top 10 and your Player of the Year points battle. And let me tell you, that's going to move and change. And, for the next month, we're
Well,
going to
yeah.
see those
Well, no,
numbers
we're
move.
we're we're getting down to it. I mean, there's going to have people jumping up into that. By the way, with the 50K, Phil Ivey in second. I don't know if you said that, but
I did.
if
I
you
appreciate
if
you
you
listening.
didn't, I mean, like this list is crazy. Like we could just go down the list, and it's like at least
It's
people that should be in the Hall of Fame someday,
right.
or
Right.
well, let's just say that they're people that should at least have their name mentioned as people that should be in the Hall of Fame, as
Right.
well. So uh,
Absolutely. Some big names. And again, it's a 50K. So I
and
don't think I would expect anything less, would you?
no, and Jungleman in 34th place. He's going to try to go for. I think this would be the three-peat here.
Yeah.
And he's got a bet. I think it's he's getting like 30 to 1 or something like that he repeats. So
How
uh,
amazing would that be? What an accomplishment
yeah,
to repeat a tournament.
can't remember who he's got the bet with, but it's like the person gets 2,000 versus 60,000. So
That's
pretty
amazing.
pretty
Well, let's move on
crazy odds.
to tournaments outside the WSOP. This would be a cue for you to look up the win in the
All
Venetian.
right. Yeah, I'm right.
Um, the Aria has an 11 o'clock $600 no limit 75K guarantee. The Golden Nugget at 11 a.m. has a 7 card stud low 8 or better tournament, $300 buy-in, 10K guarantee. 12 p.m. today at the Nugget is day 2 of the $600 no limit championship with a 500,000 guarantee, excuse me. 1 p.m. is the deep stack, $200 buy-in with a 25K guarantee. 7 p.m. is the nightly no limit with a 5K guarantee for a $130 buy-in. At the Orleans today, there's an 11 o'clock tournament, $200 no limit super stack, 200,000 guarantee. At 4 p.m. is a $240 buy-in, stud 8, 10K guarantee. 7 p.m. is a $200 no limit super stack, 20K guarantee. At South Point today, there is a 10:05 a.m. $60 no limit 4K guarantee. At 2:05, there's a $60 no limit turbo $1,500 guarantee. At 6:05 p.m., there's a $100 no limit 5K guarantee. And at 10:05 p.m., one of my favorite tournaments in Vegas, a $60 $1,500 guarantee. And I do want to say that the 1 o'clock daily at the WSOP is canceled today. So the 1 o'clock daily deep stack
Can
at the
you
WSOP is canceled
can you
today.
double check that? I think you were tweeting from a tweet from yesterday. from what I saw.
Oh, let me look. I
But
thought there was
maybe that
another
is.
one today. Let me
Why
look.
don't you look, and I'll go on to the Wynn and the Venetian for the
Yeah,
moment.
go ahead.
So
Thank
at
you.
the Venetian, 11:10 a.m. today, $1,100 buy-in, part of their deep stack ultimate deep stack series. They're going to have the No Limit Hold'em Ultimate Stack event number 33, and this is going to be day 1A of that. $500,000 guarantee, 40,000 in chips, and 40-minute levels. And then at the Win, a bunch of tournaments going on today. 11 o'clock is day 2 of the seniors event there for their summer classic. And then 12 o'clock is Mystery Bounty Day 1A is $2,200 buy-in, $2.5 million guarantee, 30,000 in chips, 40-minute levels. It's an unlimited re-entry, and late reg is open till the start of level 10. So you got plenty of time to get over there. $700 of that buy-in goes to the bounty pool, and then bounties start on day 2. And then at 1 o'clock is day 1 of the seniors event there. The buy-in is a 5K buy-in, no limit hold'em, $250,000 guarantee, 40,000 in chips, 40-minute levels. Once again, unlimited rebuys, and the late reg is open to the start of level 10. And then 7 p.m. tonight, they're going to have one of their milestone satellites to day 1B of the mystery bounty. Let me see. Let me make sure. Yeah, day 1B of the mystery bounty. That's a $400 buy-in, 10-seat guarantee, 20,000 in chips, 20-minute levels, unlimited re-entries until the start of level 9, and you're wait, let me see when your seat. Oh, okay, yeah. So the milestone is 150,000. So you start with 20,000. Once you get up to 150,000 in chips, then you are done. They take your chips out of play. And then they also, I understand, reserve. The milestone is where they reserve part of the seats are awarded like a standard satellite would be. But if you can get to 150,000 in chips, the sooner you do that, the sooner you're done. So I've heard a lot of positive feedback on that, not having to sit there for hours and hours and hours, but be able to get up to that chip stack and be able to go out. Actually, one of my questions to the floor when I was talking to them about that tournament or about those satellites, the milestone satellites, is whether or not the dealers help you with that, like whether they whether they um, like whether they say something or not when you get to the 150,000. So apparently they do. So that it or they're not obviously required to, but they can help out and say, hey, you might want to stop playing now that you're over the 150,000.
I
So
wondered that myself. And initially I wondered I would think yes, but then I'm like, no, I don't think they would. I would think that it's up to the player.
yeah, exactly. So let's so um do you want to jump into number 3,
Yeah, do
our
whatever
Mr.
you want. Do whatever
our
you
friend
want, bud.
Mr. Cabral, and we'll bring people up now. I think Wolf, you had requested. Go ahead and request again, and
Yeah,
we'll bring
Wolf.
you up too, and
Sorry,
whoever else
Wolf. We
wants.
don't typically bring anybody up until we're done giving all that spiel out, just because we can get it done faster that way and be on to some fun topics. So don't be offended. Please
Yeah,
request again.
I want to talk about Cabral and Sir Williams, as he's referred to now, or Sean. He I think Donna or somebody called him that. Oh no, it was what's that other gentleman's name from the UK that was
It
running
was
space?
the guy that was running the space the other day.
I can't remember
It
his
was
name.
it
Anyway,
Andrew?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Yeah, I think Andrew. He called him Sir Williams because it just said S. We were like, did you knight him or what? So anyway, I wanted to talk about Martin Cabral, and I think Sir Williams had a good point. Is that just because somebody's annoying doesn't mean that you can throw them out of the tournament. Like that's
Well, I
not
totally
a,
agree, but
or not liked or whatever. But I would say, Sherry, and maybe this is what you're going to say, that there are lines there too. Like
well,
you
and
can't just say whatever you want.
it's not just about his word play. It's about
Right.
him marking the cards and cheating. So let's not get it twisted. It has nothing to do with him trying to put people on tilt because of his wordplay. It's because people think he's cheating, and he should be banned for cheating, not wordplay.
There was
Well,
a spot specifically where he was looking at Brandon Stevens' cards, and Brandon Stevens goes, "Are you looking at my cards?" And he's looking directly at them and not at the guy's stack, and he stood up right next to him. So I mean, that's a pretty, like that's got to be reviewed for sure.
yeah, yeah, and I think too. As much as the poker community sometimes has these witch hunts, so to speak, I think that there is a reality that all of us have seen, like millions and millions of hands over time, and when
Yeah, this is
somebody
just out
has
of the
cheated,
norm.
it's like something doesn't look right here. And it's not just simply like, oh, I want to look at your chip stack or whatever.
Well, and you standing up doesn't change how many chips I have or don't have. Like you can see my chip stack from your sitting down position, unless sometimes you're in seat 1 or seat 10 and you can't see because of the dealer. Okay, no problem. But other than that, you can flip and see my chip stack, dude. You don't have to stand up every time. Sorry.
Wolf, I want to let you get to this too, but I wanted to say that I noticed as well. I don't know what it means, but I noticed a lot of times when he was taking his fingers off of the cards, that the cards were like sticking to his fingers. So I don't know if it's just those cards or whatever,
Or
but
it
Well,
could
I
be
saw
just
a
the
clip on Twitter where he like
oh,
shape with his
he's
hand,
breaking up.
and like you can see him like scratch it a little bit. So I mean, it seems like he tried it on camera or he was trolling. But I mean, I'll see if I can find the clip and share it to you later. I mean, it was like the most
yeah,
deliberate one I could see.
and I'm going to suggest if you haven't seen some of the clips that we're referring to, Legion Benjamin has posted some clips from from the televised Poker Go thing last night, and there's some questionable actions, no doubt about it. And if I were the Poker Go people, I would be perusing that footage, for the next 48 hours to see, if you can figure out what he's doing or not doing, right? And but there are definitely times you're like, oh my god, he just marked the card. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, you can be sure too, though, that it's not like they're just starting this. If there was these allegations coming into this, I know for a fact they people that have a history of questionable stuff are watched a lot closer than just somebody that walks in there to play. So as much as like it is frustrating to see some of these people have allegations or bans at other casinos and then they're seemingly allowed to play, there is stuff going on behind the scenes. And unfortunately, like the World Series or whatever the operator is, they're not going to talk about their security stuff. But
And
you
let's
know,
face it, innocent till proven guilty, right? But when you have multiple people from different parts of the world speaking up on the topic, somebody needs to look into it. The powers
I
that
I
be.
I thought that was funny. Though. You look at like Chance has this wall of chips, like, and then he's got his hands over his cards, and everybody's got their hands over their cards, and it's
Hey,
just kind of
I'm
out.
actually about to be at work, but there's one thing I did wanted to mention really quick before I go. I don't know if you guys heard, but in Dan Smith's exit interview, he kind of let slip that like the bracelet event last year that he won, they chopped it heads up, and he said they were playing for like 60K.
and and the bracelet. So WSOP, you're not supposed to chop, but I mean, he
Right.
confirmed that he chopped that event. So just throwing that dirt out there.
I thought I heard that. It's great that you mentioned that. I you said it really quick, and I was like, "What did I just hear?"
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely super nonchalant.
I want to
yeah.
give out a shout out to your boy Chance Corinth because you know the person that we're speaking about said some comments about this new rule, and Chance says, as he's kind of not hiding, but he's kind of behind his wall of chips, says something to the effect of, "Yeah, that's a new rule to protect us from you." I was like, "Oh shit, shots fired."
Even Abby was laughing at that. She doesn't know a lot of the like lingo and different stuff, and she's just sitting on the couch cracking up at that he called him out like that. So pretty funny.
It was funny. I just cracked up because, of course, I had not been watching the whole broadcast, so I kind of just fast forwarded some because I just don't have time today to look at it, and I just was fast forwarding through, and I just stop at certain points to see where we're at, and I just happened to stop like right before that, so I caught it. I was laughing. It's just a great line. Just
It was a pretty entertaining final table. Like, I'm always rooting for Chance in anything. Just such a nice guy and good outlook. I mean, when he came out, he's in the interview. He said, "Well, I'm just happy to get my first over $1 million cash," which is crazy to think about. That, I mean, I think he has like 30 million or so in career earnings. So that's crazy to think that that's his first over $1 million cash. But
amazing.
he's such a just solid dude for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Number four on my list here, and then you can add to whatever you want, and if people want to come up and talk about is fine. Is how you deal with people that are trying to tilt you. And usually it's the other way around. Like, I'm probably trying to tilt everybody else at the table, but I firmly believe in not being a jerk, doing it with a good heart and that kind of thing. Not like trying to be mean. I'm certainly not drinking and just belligerent or anything like
Right.
that. But I definitely have gotten under people's skins at times, just having fun and that sort of thing. Really, like, not so much trying to tilt people as much as it is I'm trying to like get them to lose focus. But for myself, I think I'm going to try to do less of that um, because it's hard to really be taking everything in while you're doing that. So I think my goal this year has been
Well,
to
I'm going
zip
to
it a
tell
little bit
you
more.
that I've put people on tilt and didn't even realize that that's what I was doing. Like, I love to sing. I sing because I can sing, not because I can sing. And so I will be at the table, and if music is playing, I may be singing along just quietly under my breath, but obviously it's louder than I think it is. And I've only had it happen once, but the guy next to me just about blew a gasket because I was singing along with a song. And, I just chuckled because I was like, dude, I'm just enjoying my day. I'm at the poker table. I'm happy. And it has nothing to do with you. I'm sorry you took a bad beat, but I didn't take your chips. But now that you're being a jerk to me, I can't wait to take the rest of your chips, right? Oh, and just for the record, women don't go on tilt. Only you guys do. Did I lose my co-host?
Oh, I'm on mute. I'm talking to myself over here. I see here that Melissa 2141 is trying to get Alan Kessler, somebody that'll give him a get in shape prop bet. So
I think he's in pretty good shape. At least he looks at it. I see we got a couple of messages. Open, open, nah. posted in our chat Rob Mercer's GoFundMe account. So if you can give to that, and just for a short review of what that GoFundMe is about, Rob has been diagnosed with terminal cancer, has been given about 18 months to live, and so he wants to play the main event. So if you can help with that GoFundMe, every dollar matters. $5, $10, $100, it all matters. So if you find it in your heart and your pocketbook, please give to Rob's cause.
And I went ahead and pinned that to this space here, so I'm sure everybody here has seen it, but if not, it is a good plug. And just to let you know, last I looked, let's just check really quick. I think he was up to like 1,200 or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's what I saw last too. And I wanted
14,
to give it, go ahead.
1,466 as of now. So hopefully he'll
And
be able to get there.
a little shout out to Donna who sent us a message. She's at the vet with with her cat. No, I'm sorry, with her neighbor and her neighbor's cat, excuse me. So hopefully that's all going to turn out for those ladies.
Donna's always got some kind of drama. She
Yeah.
is drama. She is drama.
She's on the,
I'm just,
she's in the top forces of getting stuff done for people.
she is so sweet. That lady is awesome. I love her.
I do too.
So yeah, that's what I got for today. Did you have anything to add, Sherry?
No, I did not. I think I used up my cannabis one yesterday, which was quite hilarious. And I just think it was fun that people thought I was speaking about myself when in fact I was just trying to do some data connection or collection for our listeners. So, but it just tickled my funny bone when people thought I was talking about myself.
I'm telling you, Sherry, some peaches edibles may be your key to wealth.
And look, I don't deny that. I don't deny it at all. And I have somebody that makes edibles, so that is something that we can certainly look into. I just don't have the time right now, and we don't have any peaches this summer. So it is definitely something for next summer because I'm hoping the crop will be back to normal next year and we'll have the peaches to do it with. AV,
And
where you been? Where you been, buddy? You okay?
yeah, and we got Rob here. Why don't you, if you want to speak, like we're just
Rob?
plugging your fundraiser there for your main event seat. If you want to come up and talk, and in the meantime, Sherry, go ahead and request if you want to talk, Rob. But the other thing, Sherry, is so when are you getting to Vegas? What's your plans?
Oh, I'm going to come on Tuesday. I've had to change my hotel, which I'm not mad about. At first, I was like, oh, I don't know. But I'm not mad about it because a very good friend of mine, um, connections to Hollywood, so to speak, has decided to come into town, and so we're going to move over to the Bellagio. I think it's either going to be the Bellagio or Caesars. We're going to work on that today
Nice.
because we're just probably going to get a suite, I think. But anyway, um, working on that today. So going to get there Tuesday. Supposed to be there through July the 4th. Have honestly a busy schedule. Like I have some days that are still just open and devoted to poker, but as it's getting closer, like those minutes of time are getting less and less. And I'm going to be real honest with you. I prioritize hanging out with friends before I play poker because there's a poker tournament every day somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But it's not every day that I can meet somebody in Vegas and go out for lunch or drinks or whatever. And to me, I prioritize those visits more over my poker. So we'll see. I can't wait though. I'm
Well,
getting excited.
you're gonna miss my final table in the tag team there. So,
What day is that?
well, the tag team starts on Thursday.
Oh, so it's probably Sunday.
And then day
Damn it.
two, probably Saturday, will be the tag team final table. So
Well, I'm just going to tell you like it is, brother. That means you're going to have to make two final tables within a week, the tag team final table and then some tournament while I'm in town.
there
So
you go. I'll make
get your mind, hey, get your mind right.
the $100 9 a.m. horseshoe daily no limit hold'em with $1,000 guarantee prize pool.
Dude, are we really going to take a victory picture for that one? Okay, I'm in.
Well, they do have the little area there where you can take a picture.
Okay, I'm
I
in.
want to get to Rob here.
Come on, Rob.
Rob's running the fundraiser to get to the main event. We got to get Rob to the main event. Come on in here, Rob.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How you guys doing?
We're great. How are you doing?
Good.
I'm feeling all right. Just waking up. I'm gonna make it pretty quick because I'm probably gonna head back to bed because I'm kind of exhausted. But I just want to appreciate you guys putting my fundraiser up in the pin comment. I mean, the amount of support and the amount of support and positive feedback I've got from this is just amazing. How many people are stepping up and trying to help me. I mean, it's crazy.
It's
I
awesome.
didn't expect it to go off like that. I was just taking a shot in the dark. It's like I didn't. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how many people have stepped up and just sent me messages and the donations and everything. I'm just truly grateful for everybody, and it just shows that there's still good people out there in the world that want to help people that are going through tough times. So,
Well,
and it just I'm just kind of speechless. It's because honestly, in my everyday life, I only have my dad. Pretty much me and my dad, and he's helped take care of me since I've been diagnosed, and I can't work anymore. And yeah, and the last few months has been pretty dark for me. There's been weeks where I wouldn't get out of bed for 4 or 5 days at a time. So just because mentally, it just checked out.
for sure.
And but yeah, my dad and I we actually went to Vegas a couple weeks ago for a few days, and it kind of put a shot of life back into me. Playing a couple little small tournaments, like the little daily tournaments, and I was like, wow, and just the getting out and doing stuff, it kind of gave me more of a positive jolt back into my life, and I was like, yeah, it gave me a little bit more energy and just life, and I was like, well, I don't have a lot of time left, so my dream has always been playing main event. I started playing poker when I was 18 years old. I'm 37 now. And I'm like, I'm just going to take a chance. And if I can get people to help me to make it happen for me, I can't repay it. It's like this, it just be something that can never be repaid to anybody. Just be completely grateful for it. And if it can happen, I mean, wow, it'll be amazing. If it doesn't, I mean, that's fine too. I appreciate what I've gotten from people so far. So
Well, Rob, I'm just going to say to you, God bless you, bud. And nobody expects you to repay a thing. And the joy will be for anyone that donates, just knowing you got to do what you wanted to do, bud.
thank you, Sherry.
You
Yeah.
bet.
And it's really, I mean, like for as much flack as the poker community takes and the nonsense and the people around, it's stuff like this that you realize that there are some unbelievably great people within the community,
Yeah, most definitely.
and that's why I think it's really important that we focus, on things that are positive and the people that are positive, and spend
Yeah.
time with those people. So we'll definitely be praying for you, Rob, and all of your medical stuff, and hopefully
Thank you, Brian.
some kind of miracle happens here, and that you get out there and also win the main event. That would be
Right.
a big story,
It'd
right?
be nice. And it's like I was telling my dad last night. I was like, wow, if this actually happens, I was like, I'm just gonna give the money back to everybody. Like, it's like if I did, I was gonna give half of it to him, and whatever I win, I'd get half of it to my dad to set him up, and so he could, because he's retired, and and the thing I feel most like upset about is that he's financially been helping me for last year because I can't work, and he's kind of dipped a lot into his retirement fund to try and make my time, like for us to do stuff together and make my time, and he's spent a lot of money on me, and it's like I want to be able to repay him in some way.
I'm going to
And
tell you something as a parent. There's not a parent on this God's earth that would not do the same thing for their child. And that's what we're supposed to do with our money, honey.
thank you. And that's what my dad said. He said, if I have to go broke trying to make your time happy, then I will do that. And I said, I don't want that to happen, but
Well, that's what family's for, and that's what being a parent is all about.
yeah,
You're always there for your kids, and no matter how old they are, like mine are getting into their adult, becoming adults, and that sort of thing, and I feel no different about supporting them and all of that. So, but
yeah,
it's not
most definitely. I mean, family's number one. It's what do you have if you don't have family?
it's nice to see though, like just kind of strangers and community in the community, like just come together and try to help.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, man, it's crazy how many people have come together in the last 2 or 3 days. Just just the outpouring love that I've received, and positive feedback and support. It's just I'm just forever grateful. Like I just can't.
It's a
Well,
beautiful thing, Rob. It's a beautiful thing.
that's why too, like sometimes people are like, why do you talk about the World Series, or why do we were doing the vlog at one point and things like that. And really, it's that I know that there's a lot of people out there that have just never even gotten to go. Certainly, the main event is another thing. Like
Yeah, exactly.
walking in, Rob. Hopefully, you get to do this, because walking in for the main event with a seat card, you like first off just having the seat card. You're
Yeah,
like, it's
it's a nostalgia that most people don't get to do, and
yeah,
it's like, and I told myself, because I mean, I had a lot of people tell me months ago that I should start trying to do GoFundMe so I could play the main event, and after seeing a lot of the negative stuff that happened with certain people, I'm not going to name any names, so I don't want to get into that
yeah.
thing. I was like, no, and it's like being a proud man too. It's like it takes a lot for me to swallow my pride and to ask people for help, that's been big thing for me too. But I realized that if I don't ask people for help, I'm never going to get help. So it's like I knew I'm not going to be able to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And it's like swallow your pride. It's not even that big of a deal. Ask people for help, and if you can make your dream come true, that's worth trading your pride in.
Well,
And
And
yeah.
just remember, people are going to help you because they want to. And so, you're reaching out, and you know what? Some people are not going to help you, and it's okay.
yeah, and
But
that's
some
fine. Yeah,
people, yeah, but some people are going to help you. And those that want to, God bless. Those that don't want to, God bless. But you know what? You need to ask for help when you need it.
exactly.
Yeah, and like I said, hopefully you get to go there. It's definitely something that as a poker player, everybody should try to get there, um,
Exactly. Yeah.
because it's an amazing experience. And you sit down, and next thing you know, like Phil Ivey's sitting down next to you doing battle, or certainly if you're fortunate enough to get to the later stages into the money, and you start to see, like, I mean, just getting into the final room together with one room that everybody's in, that you've whittled down to, and then you start to see them, you know, collapsing, putting away tables for the year
Right.
and stuff like that. You're just like, it starts to wonder,
It's an
if it
experience that
happened.
we all as poker players want to experience.
It's
I
just,
don't.
And it's like when I was like when I was telling you guys earlier, when I went to Vegas with my dad, I actually played a $135 satellite, and I satellited into the 1K mystery bounty, and just like the euphoria I got just from playing that, even I know I busted like level 12 or 13 or whatever.
yeah,
It just the amount of fun and excitement of all the people there, and all the different people you meet from all over the world, and just the different stories you hear. I mean, it's just you can't experience that anywhere else.
Well, and I'm sure like that has to do a lot for your energy level and all of that too, you
It
know?
did, definitely did, man. That's why I started the GoFundMe, because I was like, wow, I didn't realize this trip to Vegas I just took, how much it had a positive feedback, like on my mental and my physical state of mind. I
Yeah.
mean, it literally fucking put a shot of life back into me that I haven't felt in months.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like a certain euphoria. And then when I got home, after like few days after coming back home, I started like, kind of getting back into the old routines, and I'm realized I can't do that. Like, I need to try and get up and do stuff, and enjoy what time I have left. I need to try and fucking get up and do stuff, and not feel sorry for myself, and try and live the time that I do have left.
Yeah, and the reality of that is no one knows how much time they have is the reality. So live every day like, like it was your last, and just, go for it in life and experience everything that you can. So uh,
Yeah,
it's definitely will be thinking about you, Rob, for sure. And
I appreciate you
and
guys bringing me on here.
and
Of
hoping
course.
hoping you run it up, man. Like that would be so
I
awesome.
hope so.
We
And it's
can't
like
wait.
and then it's like I've been telling everybody that's been keeping messaging me and stuff. I said, even if I don't get a seat in the main event, if I get enough donations, I'm still gonna come out to Vegas, and I'll hang out with people and play like a smaller tournament or something, just to and just spend time with people that have made an effort to try and make this happen for me.
Yeah, certainly. Like, there'll be some satellites too, or a
Yeah,
smaller
for sure.
Well, I'm going to just tell
whatever.
both of you and everybody else, I have faith that you will get that buy-in.
I think it'll happen too. I think,
Yep.
especially we've got some time here to get it together, and I think
I have a lot of hope, but we'll see what happens.
yeah, I think people will come together and and get you there. When did you start it? Yesterday or the day
I
before?
started it 2 days ago, and they've already raised 1,500, so it's pretty good. It's a good start.
Yeah, really good start. I think that I just love this, and you're seeing this more and more too, Sherry. Like with the different contests and stuff like that. I'm trying to get in this one where they have where what is it, Ben's, where
Yep.
he's like,
Benz.
yeah, with the race car. Because see, Sherry, my brother, he was a race car driver.
Oh, when I saw my brother will drive, I was like, his brother must be a driver.
Yeah, well, yeah, and he used to teach too. So at the racing schools and stuff. So I'm in with him driving for me
I
there.
love it.
But he took me to one of these racing schools, Sherry. I'll never do it again. I was
I'm going to
scared.
tell you what, I can't wait to try that. I love driving. The only two things I've never driven so far is a bus and a semi. But before I die, oh, and a tank. Before I die, I'm going to drive all three of those. I guarantee you. I'm going to drive all three of those.
You know that scene in Talladega Nights where he's driving like 25 miles an hour. That was me. That was me.
Don't they have some place called something Battlegrounds in Vegas where you can drive a tank?
Oh yeah, there's a place here in Georgia that has
And
that.
and you can go and drive a tank over cars and
Yeah.
stuff. It's actually pretty cool.
Trust me, I'm going. I'm
I
going.
You should. I mean, that's. I mean, how many people can say they drove a tank? You know.
I'm going to do it. I promise you before I die, those three vehicles will be checked off my list.
I think the same people that own Speed Vegas own that other thing too, with the tank driving, and I don't know what else they have out there.
I can't remember what it's called. Something. I know it's called something Battlegrounds or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Do they have a gun range there too? Because I want to say that the one in Vegas has a gun range where you could try like some big artillery kind of stuff.
yeah. I think that there was something like that that
Yeah.
they were doing. Yep.
See, I've looked into it. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding.
Well, you know where
No,
the
absolutely.
dispensaries are.
Sherry, I hear the excitement in your voice. I mean, I can tell you want to.
I'm
I
in.
mean, yeah.
I'm in. I'm telling you, I'm in.
you know where the dispensaries are. You know where how to make the peach edibles. All that.
All the important things.
Avi, what's up, buddy?
Hey y'all,
Avi.
thanks for having me. Did you guys happen to know about the tank incident in San Diego in 1994, 95?
Yes. Somebody driving through the neighborhood, running over stuff in a big
A
army
dude
tank.
who was a former Army veteran snuck into
Yep.
like a compound or whatever, someplace where they stored tanks.
Yeah, the
The tank
armory.
An armory.
Didn't he do that because his wife cheated on him and then he stole the tank and like ran it over her car and like ran it into their house, right?
Yep.
uh,
I think that's why.
Yeah, I
oh,
think that's
there
the
were a
story.
list. He had anti-government sentiments. His business went down. I don't remember the part about his girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm
But
pretty sure he headed to her
I'm
house.
sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he went to her house and like he ran over her car and then also ran into the side of the house and like drove through that. And then I know another there's another story where a guy took a big cat like the farming big cats. You know what I'm
Right.
talking about?
Yeah.
And he drove it into his wife's house. They're getting a divorce, and she got the house, and he took the big cat and drove it through half the house.
Oh no!
And he's like, "Here's half your house."
Here's
You know?
your house. Oh my gosh!
Brutal.
That's when people
Brutal.
have gone a little bit over the edge there.
Yeah. 100% is right, Avi. Well, I haven't seen you in a few days, Avi. You doing okay?
Yeah, just trying to figure out my relationship with spaces, you know.
Okay. Hey, we get it. We get it. We were able to make those decisions fast a while back.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, we yeah, and for the record, I don't have any burner accounts, Sherry.
Now they're saying that about you. I
Just
love when people say that about me. Oh, she's just on burner accounts, dude. And people have heard me say this. I can barely remember the login for this account. I There's no way I can, memorize multiple logins. And you know what? If I want to come in and listen, I'm going to come in as Sherry Pluskota and I'm coming right at you. So I don't need a burner account.
yeah, I wanted to find out if Kenna's having his thing today, so I invited Ice Bunny up. I don't know if she's somewhere where she can speak,
Oh, that is right. Today's Monday. He does it on Mondays.
but I think he was still in an event, maybe, so he might
All
not
right.
be doing it today. So I was curious about that because that was pretty interesting. His space last week, Sherry. I don't know if you jumped in it. I think it was last week when I was in there.
I did.
Yeah, it was really interesting. It was about like mindset and things like that. Really, really
Well,
kind of educational. So
I've been kind of keeping a secret, and if Ice Bunny comes up, I'm going to ask her if it's okay if I release the secret. But I actually got a little bit of good news out of that spaces just that last week.
oh, okay.
But it was a great place to be. There was great topics being discussed, and of course, he's such a giver with information and of his time and of himself. So it was really great to listen to.
Yeah, it was great. And I want to hear like a lot of the, stories from back in the day. Like, you know, it's
Yes.
kind of weird. I was just talking to somebody about this, Sherry, is some of the people that I know from poker, I knew them first from TV, right?
Right.
And then these people are like they feel like two separate people in my mind,
Right.
because they're literally, two different people basically, So
Well,
it's
and I'm going
just
to
a
tell you,
really good thing.
it, I'm laughing because I haven't had a moment to tell Nick Vertucci this. It just never like it was the right time. But I mean, I have said to him and Josh that I remember watching them at on live at the bike,
Yeah.
like, and honestly, I used to think Nick was the biggest fish on that show. And I keep wanting to tell him that because when I ever watched him on Hustler now, I'm like, geez, he's still a fish. And I want to
Yeah.
kind of poke at him about it. and it's just never been the right time. One of these days, I'm gonna let him know that. But yeah, I used to watch them and Andy and Garrett. I first started to admire Garrett when he played on that show. I think I was just fanning him right from the start because he was just always came across as a nice guy, tough as nails poker player, and such a great poker player. Um, but yeah, and you know, I I was fanning them when I was at the Harrah's on the Strip a few years ago, and Garrett and Andy came to my table, a cash table, and played. And I was like, man, who are those guys? And I thought about it for a minute. I was like, oh my God, those are the guys from Live at the Bike. And they're just trying to hit and run, right? They're
Yeah,
just trying to hit and run. But yeah, I get it. I get
Garrett.
it.
Garrett, I went to war with. I think in the main one year, like day 2 or 3, late on day 2 or early on day 3. Like that's the first I met him. But it's funny that Nick and Josh both like talk about like a different, since really kind of getting to know them better, like different opinion of both of them. Like just super, super amazing people for
For
sure.
sure, for sure. And I thought that whole group at Live at the Bike was they're fun to watch. They're entertaining, seem like a bunch of nice guys. And yeah, I loved watching that show. And I'm going to tell you something. When I started watching that show, I never had played a hand of poker. I never
Yeah.
had played poker. And I was watching that show. And
Just
that just tells you how entertaining it was to me.
Avi.
Um, so I've listened to Nick Fertucci talk about Live at the Bike versus Hustler, and he knows that he was a fish at Live at the Bike. He said that the Friday game was built around him, that everyone just saw
100%.
as their.
100%.
But if you want to deliver that to him, I think you should, like, the punchline should be, you setting up like, God, when I saw you alive at the Bike, I thought you were a fish. Didn't know what you were doing. Everyone at the table was just targeting you. And now when I see you on Hustler and like set it up like you're gonna say like, but now you know what you're doing is like, I'm still like, man, I need to coach this guy. It's just, and like anyone would,
That's
just
hilarious.
like really, yeah.
Yeah, I just keep waiting for the right time, and there just hasn't been the right time for me to say that to him
Needle.
because I think he'll think it's hilarious, and then I'll be like, "Thanks a lot, Sherry." But um, yeah, I honestly used to think. Yeah, he's the one they're coming to get the chips from. And at that time, I didn't even know that that was called the fish. I'm going to be honest with you, but that was my impression back then. It's so funny. But anyway, oh, Lord. That's my Nick Vertucci story. I just haven't had a chance to tell him yet.
Yeah, it's interesting to get to know those people more and just speak of the devil.
Okay, Josh, get up here. Now that somebody
Are,
must have
are
texted him.
people DMing Josh telling him that we're talking about him,
Yeah,
Sherry?
this is too coincidental. First, Rob.
Yeah, yeah.
Josh. Ah, Josh.
We got somebody operating in the DMs. Josh dropped out. Oh, there he
Hel-
is.
There he
Hello, hello. Good morning.
is. Okay, now I've been put on the spot. I don't know what you've heard or not heard, but
I
what I was saying
came in
is,
and
go
saw
ahead.
me and called me up. That's the extent of I know of anything.
Okay. So we're just talking about how, Brian brought up how, you know, when we see some people in person or end up playing with somebody in person that we've seen on TV or on a podcast or whatever, that you're trying to like put it in your own reality, like, hey, I'm really sitting here playing with this guy or this lady or whatever. And I said that I have a story that I haven't been able to tell you and Nick, which is, as you know, I used to watch Live at the Bike before I even played poker because I've told that story to you before.
Don't be
And
backpedaling, Sherry. No,
no,
I'm,
I'm just
I'm
trying to
kidding.
set
I'm
it
teasing.
up. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to set it up. But I used to think that Nick was such a fish on that show, but I didn't know that's what you called it back in the day. That I used to just think, dude, they invited him to come because they can take his chips. That's what I used to say. And
Well,
then when
I
I
think
watch him on,
he knows that, by the way, just so you
well,
know. I mean,
oh,
it's
I know because I've heard him say I'm the fish here, and every time he says that, I'm like, yeah, I agree. And I love you and I love him, but it's just funny. I was just telling them I've just never had an opportunity to tell Nick that myself. That I was like, I didn't even know what the word fish was because I never had played poker, but I definitely identified him as the fish at
well.
that time.
Listen, and the one thing, he and I are both Italian. We're both Aries, born in March. We both send tweets and have to apologize for them. But the one thing I was not was a fish on Live at the Bike. I actually
No,
used to go in there and crush.
yeah, you
Um,
were tough. You were very aggressive, and I was like, "Oh man,
Well,
he's
you'd get
tough."
two sides of me. If I wanted to play poker, I was coming in and getting chips, and if I wanted to gamble, and I wasn't close to Vegas, I would come and start flipping, 5 and 10 k hand flips,
Right,
but but I loved, for me, what Feldman did at Live of the Bike when he came in, because I was there through the three phases, and what Feldman did on the Live of the Bike when he was there, by bringing in the Doug Polks, the Alec Torellis,
right,
Kane Callis, Charlie Carrolls, and all those guys. It was really, really awesome because guys like myself that were fans of poker were getting the chance to play with those guys that were up and coming or respected names in the game. And that's where I really had fun. That's why I never ever understood. And I don't knock people. I understand poker is a business, and I guess I'm a businessman who plays poker. I never understood why people needed to have certain kind of lineups that suited them and all that. Me, I was like, give me Phil Ivey, Daniel Negreanu, Helmy. I didn't care. Put them all at the
right,
table because I want to play with the best. I want to see how they make me feel. I mean, when I would play Fridays at Hustler, and Garrett was there, I got enjoyment out of that because I knew, he was playing at a different level. And I think I'm a okay, when my head's on right and I'm not drinking, I think I'm a okay and good poker player.
right.
But I really ran well against the likes of Andy, Brian Kim, Garrett, some of the other bigger names. I've tend to run even Doug Polk during his week. I ran real well and made some good moves, and it was exciting because those guys are at the top of their game.
That is exciting. And I think that just fits into what Brian was saying that, you admire these players and you just want a chance to play with them. But at the same token, you're almost disassociated because you're like, shit, I'm here playing with them, right? Like it's almost surreal and it's fantastic. I mean, you know, I don't care if I look at it as okay, if I'm sitting down at this table with, and I know everybody is just amazing, whatever I lose today or whatever my buy-in is for today is just the cost of my lesson for today, right? And guess what? I'm learning so much by just being around somebody better than me that it's worth that $500 buy-in or whatever. I'm all about it. Put me
Listen,
at that table.
poker is, I mean, the things that I've learned about it. And it's funny, I got twin boys, and for the last year they've been like playing, they're growing in where they're playing with their friends now and stuff like
Right,
that. So it's really interesting having the conversation and then sitting down and playing with them and seeing where they're starting off at. But to me, it's always been about composure. I mean, I think if you really look at the most successful people in the game, and they're winning 70, at a 70%, 75 maybe. If maybe my numbers are high, somebody can come and correct me, but I feel like that's where like the best win at. Now, if you think about that, that's not that, that's some people might think, damn, Phil Ivey and those guys win at 90%, because they're just so head and shoulders. And my numbers may be high. Maybe they're winning at 60 to 65%.
right,
And
right.
that's still a little bit better than a flip.
right? 100%. You know, my daughter was involved with sports, as you know. And, sometimes when we walked into a room and, Roger Federer is standing right there or Serena Williams is standing over there, her and I would talk about it before we would go into that players' lounge, and we would say, okay, we can't act like tourists. We have to pretend like we belong here and we've been here before, right? And you could admire from far away, but you can't Google and Gaga over them in front, up up close and personal. So, you can't be a tourist.
It is amazing though, Josh. As much as like it is about composure and stuff like that. I don't know if you watched the 250K last night, but it was pretty clear that that guy was getting to a lot of the pros at that table that are obviously top notch.
Well, and I was on Coco Space last night, and I said the line, what do you guys think the over under was, and how quick I would be kicked out of WSOP for that guy? I mean, like, people are like, no, you would compose yourself, and yeah, I really would have composed myself, but the reality is that you know what I found amazing by that is, yes, certain folks allowed him to get in the dome, but I thought the guys that actually didn't allow him wound up being there at the end playing heads up. And I thought that Brewer bantered back with him, didn't allow him to throw him off his game, and I think that helped a lot. And I think Meritosian, did the same. Like he just took all the stuff he was throwing at him and really didn't give it any mind. And at the end of the day, look where those guys ended up. And the folks that were sort of allowing him to penetrate, sort of fell by the side.
Yeah, and they're sitting there playing for $5 million, like, but couldn't put it away. Pretty
And
crazy.
yeah, I
Well,
agree with your take, Josh. But also that Marta Rosen, like, it wasn't the man that was getting to him; it was kind of his chip stack. Because the night before, like, I was like, man, who is this guy? He looks like he's playing really good, making a lot of bold moves, great reads and stuff. And then Kabrhel kind of took his chips away. And like from there, it kind of seemed like he was in the tank, and it seemed like he was just a little bit flustered. But then when the final table came around, yeah, like absolutely solid. Like, and the cards were working with him, but like I think he had 3 sets at the final table, which kind of does explain why he went from least in chips to having 62 million at one point. But yeah, it was great to watch, and I completely agree that the people who didn't let him get to them are the ones who succeeded.
I mean, when I tuned in, Meritosian, if I'm pronouncing his right name, I mean, he's Armenian. My wife right away pointed out, oh, that guy's Armenian. He had like 8 million or 7 million, and Brewer had like the same. So it was really a battle with their chip sizes and their mental fortitude with the gentleman. I mean, first of all, how does somebody talk so much and not get tired themselves of just talking? That's like
Yeah,
amazing to me, that you're just yapping away and you just, you punch yourself out, as the boxers would say.
yeah. We haven't played together, obviously, Josh.
look, there's a fish.
Listen, you get two different, and sometimes I wanna, if you guys watched, when I go there when I go there to gamble, I'm pretty fun because, and this is all documented on HCL or Live at the Bike. I'll just when I take a bad beat, one or two things will happen, and this is why I laugh when people don't know my generosity. DJF will tell this story. He was at Live at the Bike when this happened. I lost a huge pot. It was like a $30-something thousand pot, and it was right before Christmas, and it was a couple of thousand remaining. And I'm walking out, and they said, "Hey, man, there's a couple of thousand." I says, "Give it to the dealer. Let him have it." So I'll either do that, or I straddle, like on my last Live at the Bike that I mean on my last Hustler I played before I got into just focusing on my studio and whatnot. I think Nick will say this. Nick tried to get me not to. I straddled 7,500. Just like, all right, let's go. Let's go. So I'll make the game gamble, exciting, fun, and then that's usually with alcohol, Brian. When I have alcohol going, it'll be that kind of thing. And then there'll be times I come in there, I'm like, fuck that. I'm here to take everybody's money, and I won't have a sip of alcohol. I'll drink green tea all night with lemon. That's it, and I'm ready. If you see the green tea and lemon, just be like, all right, this motherfucker's here to play tonight.
So
Michael,
if I see green
only
tea,
play.
I order 4 rounds of shots if I see green tea. That's what the moral of this story is.
Oh, look at you, the little peach. Just give me an infused peach, all right, and
Deal.
I'll go.
Deal.
Last time I saw Veronica playing over there at the Win a couple weeks ago, that's what she was ordering shots for the table. So
I love it.
Veronica and I have never played together. It's so funny. You would think we have. We have never played. Nick and I have. I run really good against Nick as well. And then it's but Nick has been really in the lab, as they say, and crafting his game. So it's been a while since he and I have played. I lost the prop bet to Nick. I don't know if you guys caught that on a show. So Nick and I, about a year and a half ago, bet that so his winnings on HCL were like a certain number, like 500,000 or something. And I said, all right, give me 4 months and 2-1, and I'll pass you. And he's like, all right, great. We take the bet, we stamp it within an HCL chat we have so everybody sees it. It's done. I never played again on the show. I wound up having to give him. Yeah, I never played. I went right into the lab. I go, and I didn't even. He goes, "Hey, you want to buy out?" I'm like, "No, man, I owe you the money. That's it." So we worked. We settled it, and that's that. So it was funny. It's like he calls me recently. He goes, "Hey, man, I hear you're coming back to the show." I go, "Yeah. Would you like to make another bet?" And I'm like, "No, dude, I'm done giving you free money. It's okay."
Right on.
so I'm talking into the muted mic again. So Dan Smith was in for 2 bullets on that 250K. I didn't.
So he broke even, or he made a little.
So he I'm on the wrong page. He came in 5th, right? So 5th place, no, 6th place, 912,000. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice. He made
yeah,
nice scratch.
yeah.
Hey, does anybody know if Jason Coon's wife had her baby?
Yes, she did.
Awesome. Sorry, I just thought of that. Oh, a
So
fish.
look, I like him in those tournaments. And by the way, I watching that, I don't I just felt like two things I felt. I felt that either the jack or the queen were coming on the flop. After the guy folds the jacks, I'm like, Brewer folds the jacks. I'm like, all right, the jacks or the queen,
Yeah,
are coming on the flop. And then the queen winds up binking on the turn and then the jack on the river.
yeah, that was funny.
I don't know if you guys remember how long I know you guys have been playing longer than me. I want to say it was either 2010 or 2011 WSOP. There was an infamous hand, like I think it was like set over set over set royal flush or set over set royal flush or something. It was like one of the sickest hands. And I remember everybody reacting to it. I was in the room at the time and I think it was the main, if I'm not mistaken. And it was, everybody lost their minds. And I couldn't imagine,
Yeah,
everybody's trying to figure out, where do you get out there if you're anybody, geez, how do you fold? It was one of those moments.
yeah. I think wasn't it Vanessa Selps?
No, hers was,
There's the pocket aces.
yeah. And hers were quads, right? To straight flush or something.
It was. I think it was just a boat. I think she had the boat and she lost a quads. Is
Yes,
what it.
that's what it was. Yeah, that's right. And oh no, you know
Top
who
set
I'm
turn
thinking of? I'm thinking
four.
of Jennifer Harmon. Got eliminated.
Oh yes,
To
yes,
to a straight flush.
yes. And she said, "I knew you had that." That's what she said. She said, "I just knew you had that." I can almost hear her words.
Crazy.
Yeah.
This game could be so
Painful.
brutal, guys. I mean, this game could be, people ask, what are my worst speed stories? I mean, I'm playing a cash game and I got pocket aces on a straddle, and it was a pretty deep game we were playing, and the flop came out 7-7 like 4, and check to me, I bet, raise, I flat call, the turn is an ace. So I'm like, feeling really good. Check to me. I make a huge bet, then just a flat call. I'm like, the river a 7, and he shoves on me. And I'm like, well, if you have the 7, you have. And we're playing deep. And the son of a bitch called me with 7 deuce pre-flop and wound up having quads on the river.
Oh, 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 that's so sick. That's just brutal. That's brutal. Mm.
That happened 10 years ago. I could tell you that story like it was yesterday.
Yeah, the Vanessa Selp's hand, she had aces. Gail Bowman had 7s, and the flop was ace of clubs, 7 of clubs, 5 of clubs. Um, Selps made it 700. Bowman called, and the third player folded, and then the 7 of spades came on the turn. So yeah, so Selps lost aces full to quad 7s.
Yeah,
Pretty.
I remember that one. I definitely remember that one.
Don't tell Rob. Rob, close your ears. Rob's going to play the main this year, so close your ears. That did not happen on day 1 of the main event. That's the kind of thing that keeps you up the day before the main. You're like, what if this happens? What if that happens? You're heading for the showers, is what
Yeah,
happened.
Rob's in here. I'm going to be giving him a call if he's listening here. I'm literally waiting for a meeting to walk in. Once that gets done, I'm going to give Rob a call, and I'm working out something with my guy in Northern California who does powder CBD, like straight to isolate. When people always say, well, why do you say that? What makes a difference? Because there's nothing it goes through. It goes from plant to powder to your body. When people start doing things to stuff, it starts affecting the effects that the plant or whatever supplement has when things are done to it. So why I'm saying this is my mother, uh, after battling 4.5, 5 years with stage 4 lung cancer, she was completely cleared. A month and a half ago, I get woken up at 5:30 in the morning to my mother ringing the bell saying that she has no cancer in her. And one of her doctors at Sloan said it had everything to do with me putting her on a high dosage of CBD, and having her take that along with the, uh, she was taking it was an immunotherapy kind of chemo. I forget the name right now; it just slipped my mind, but I said it last night. And it got her healthy. So what I wanted to do, what I offered to Rob is, a friend of mine is the one who helped my mom out with that stuff. I'm going to put him on the regimen and the dosage my mom was on, because I'm sure it's extremely similar, and see if we can get him some assistance. I'll take care of that, but hopefully it can have the same effects it had on my mom.
That's such a great offer. And that is CBD in its rawest, purest form, people.
That's cool, Josh. Josh is the medicine doctor.
I've seen so many things. Look, my sister lost her battle in 2020, January 2020, and she was 50, and she really didn't jump on the CBD stuff, because she just didn't. She had her own way. She battled for 7 years and had her own way. And my dad, I literally had my dad, my mom, and my sister all stage 4 at the same time. So my dad is fighting right now as we speak, and he's a Marine. Wasn't going to do nothing. Was doing his regiment. He's finally saying he would consider taking the CBD. So I'm going to have him, start as well. It's, man, look, I'm telling you guys, I know this is a poker space, but I want people to hear, because health is important. So you could live and play poker. People don't keep their body alkaline. And I said this on Brian and Sherry's space last week, I think it is. I have a regimen that will keep your body alkaline. It won't cost you nothing but $100, probably every other month. It's all natural stuff. Organic baking soda is very important. What's organic baking soda? Arm & Hammer has aluminum and all these other things that can cause Alzheimer's. But if you put organic baking soda, Trader Joe's sells organic baking soda. I think there's one called Red Mill or one of those. I posted a picture and sent it to Brian and Sherry. If you put that in your body, a teaspoon a day, and you document and see, you'll see your body's at 7.2 alkalinity. Cancer and other diseases can't live. It suffocates in that.
Interesting. And I remember you saying, how do you ingest the baking soda? You don't just take a
Well,
spoon.
now I do. When in the beginning, you get used to it. So in the beginning, for folks like yourself with a great question like that, we would brush our teeth, and the mint of the toothpaste would make the taste. Because there's another thing I sent you guys as well in your DMs, MSM crystals, which is sulfur. And when people say, well, what does sulfur do? Well, the baking soda now makes your body alkaline. The sulfur makes your body, the inflammation in your body, all go away. And these are two things that cause stress on the body. That we all have cancer cells in our body, and they activate. Is what happens. So these are the things that keep them non-active, if you will. It taking these things, and I told you guys another thing called pine bark, 400 milligrams of pure pine bark extract, which is pine, a pine tree, pine bark. When Columbus brought folks over on the ships, they all had scurvy, and they were treated with pine bark, and it really really helped everybody instantly. So the regimen I sent you guys, I take it every day. Been taking it for 13 years, and my physician, who is a very well known physician who does our blood work, said, "Hey man, what are you guys on?" And I want to get on it immediately. It's stuff like that. So I'd recommend everybody spend $100 every 2 months and keep yourselves healthy.
Great advice. Thank you for sharing. Turn your mic on there, software, because I know
Sorry,
you're checking up the
sorry
storm.
about that. You said zinc tablets and vitamin C as well, right, Josh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Both zinc is very, very important. I mean, ginger. Put ginger in your life. I know you sushi eaters. Some of you guys do, some of you don't. Ginger is very, very important. We make a big vat, and when I say a vat, I mean a big. Like you Georgia folks, Sherry over there would make some fresh tea and all that. We make a big vat of lemon, ginger, turmeric, and honey. And when I tell you it is the best natural antibiotic you can put in your body than putting, anything Western medicine has. I've seen it work. I know people, it's hard for people to believe because they just want to do, get a shot, do this, do that. But this works. And it's done in a way that you take one shot in the morning of that and one shot at night when you start to feel anything come on, and you'll see a difference. So my wife, I call her. I mean, she's literally the medicine doctor. I mean, she just starts whooping stuff out, and it's really amazing. And I all my kids, we all have the effects. We see it. We feel it in our body. I mean, I'm 48 years old. I'm in the gym, 6 days a week. I have to attest it to what we're taking and ingesting. I feel amazing.
A friend of mine says Manuka honey is really good for you. I don't know if you've had that at all.
Yes, yeah, it's very absolutely very good for you. And another thing people don't realize is it's not the best thing in the world to mix honey and hot. I know we were taught that when we were young.
Mhm.
Honey is best to take room temperature.
Right.
Honey, when hot, has the ability to have some toxins create that are harmful for certain
Oh,
folks in their body chemistry.
interesting. I
Okay,
mean,
tell me that honey you just named,
Manuka honey.
and what is special about Manuka honey?
It comes from certain trees in Australia, I think, or somewhere,
Got Okay.
and they have additional vitamins and things that aren't available otherwise. So it
Okay.
has the one that I have is like it's like super thick. It doesn't really taste totally like normal. I mean, it generally tastes like honey, but there it's like super strong. Um, The other thing I was going to ask you with the alkalinity, Josh, do you think that helps with like inflammation and stuff like that?
100%, and that's what I'm saying. When you mix it with the MSM, I sent you the pictures, the MSM crystals. When you mix it with that, and by the way, when you order what I sent you, the MSM comes in powder or crystals. You want the crystals because
Mm.
it's a more pure form of what you're getting it at. But when you mix the baking soda, taking that and then taking with the MSM, so I think I sent you the whole regimen, which you want to take the vitamin C with rose hips. Vitamin
Yeah.
C mixed with MSM activates it. It's an activator, okay, for in your body. It activates it. So when you take that, immediately it begins to make your body fight against anything that is foreign coming in. On top of the inflammation, it literally makes it non-existent. When some people fly, and I've given them, hey man, make sure you take your MSM, about 30 minutes before your flight. And some people have had the ability to swell up, and they're like, Josh, we didn't even swell up. Amazing. It's
Wow.
amazing. Yeah, so.
And it prevents you from losing coin flips in the tournament.
All right, I can't go. Listen to me. This ain't Peach Dragon. I'm not the medicine man trying to sell that. But listen, guys, I'll reshare that stuff. I'll put it on Twitter. Listen, I got my meeting just walked in. Always love hearing your guys' lovely voices. I'm gonna have a set schedule coming here in the next couple of days, so bear with me, and we'll all meet when I'm
Hey,
in Vegas.
Josh, it's
Sounds
Rob, man.
great.
What's up, man? Real quick, I just wanted to let you know I sent you a message, brother.
Oh, awesome, man.
Because
Awesome.
you asked me for the information last night, and I didn't send it last night, but I sent it to you.
Oh, dude, you know what? I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm going to give you a call this afternoon. I just got a couple meetings here back to back. I'm going to
Oh, you're
wrap
good,
up, and
brother.
then
Just
I'll.
take your time, man.
All right, Rob.
Whenever you get a chance.
Sounds good, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, brother.
Bye.
All right, Sherry. So, anything else that you have, or anybody
Uh,
else?
I do not, but if anybody else has something they'd like to discuss, speak now, forever hold your peace. Press
I'm gonna
that mic button.
I'm gonna assume that I think I heard that Kenna was still in an event, so I'm thinking that his spaces might not be happening today. So I haven't seen a thing from him yet. So
And what we can do, of course, if we see it, we'll retweet it and help spread the word.
yeah, he's deep into day 2 of the monster. He didn't post the end of that, I don't think, but he had some chips there, and I saw late in day 2, so I think he's still in the monster stack. So make that happen.
I know that's right. Let's go.
All right. Well, if you don't have anything else, we'll
I'm
wrap
good.
it up, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great day. Bye bye.